Hey guys, Miss Shelly back. All right, so for section 5, we're going to split it into two different sections. So section 5 is called measures of variability. The first thing measure of variability we're going to talk about is mean absolute deviation. So first let's talk, what does measures of variability mean? Well, measures of variability are a measure that describe the distribution of that data. Basically, how spread out is the data? So now that we know a little bit more about measures of variability, let's talk about mean absolute deviation, or also known as MAD. So what does MAD stand for? Let's break each word down. So mean, we know what that is. We talked about that in the first lesson for this topic. That's the average. That's where we add all the numbers together and we divide by the amount of numbers we added together. That gives us the average. Absolute. We talked about absolute value earlier this year. Absolute value is a distance a number is from zero or another number. Remember, it is always, always, always positive. Deviation. That may not be a word that we've heard before, but deviation is from the word deviate, which means departing from normal course of action. You can think of online school as a deviation because you're deviating from what you usually do, which is go to school and learn and see me, which I miss you so much. But anyways, back to our lesson or I'll get too sad. So what does mean absolute deviation do? Well, what does it mean? It is the average of how much the data values differ from the mean. So how do I find the MAD? Well, it is 3 simple steps. So let's talk about them. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to find the mean of your number, data set of numbers. So let's find that. So remember, when we find the mean, we add up all the numbers together. 5 plus 7 is 12. 12 plus 0 is 12. 12 plus 6 is 18. Carry the 1, drop the 8. 1 plus 1 is 2. So that gives us 28. So now I'm going to take 28 and I'm going to divide it by the amount, how many numbers I added together. Well, I added 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to do 4 divided by 28. 4 goes into 28 7 times. So that means that my mean equals 7. So now that I know what my mean is, I'm actually going to write that real big right here. So now what I'm going to do is now I'm going to take my set of numbers, my 5, 7, 10, and 6, and I'm going to find the absolute value from them. So basically what that means is I'm going to subtract the numbers together and write that number. So 7 minus 5 is 2. 7 minus 7 is 0. 10 minus 7 is 3. And 7 minus 6 is 1. So now I'm going to take those numbers, 2, 0, 3, and 1, and I'm going to find the mean of those numbers. So I'm going to do 2, 0, 3, 1, and add them up. 2 plus 0 is 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. Now remember, when I find the mean, I'm finding the average. So I add them all up, and then I take that 6 and divide it by the amount of numbers I added together, which is 4. How many times does 4 go into 6? Once. 1 times 4 is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. Put a decimal, pop it up, pop it up, pop that decimal right on up. Add a 0, drop it down. How many times does 4 go into 20? 5. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 minus 20 is 0. So that means that my mean absolute deviation is 1.5. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do. Let's do a couple more problems together. So remember, step 1, find the mean of your numbers. So step 1, mean. So let's find the mean. Let's add up our numbers. So I have 5, 10, 8, 12, 1, and 6. So let's add them up. 5 plus 0 is 5. 5 plus 8 is 13. 13 plus 2 is 15. 15 plus 1 is 16. 16 plus 6 is 22. So I brought my 2. Let's start over there. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. So now I'm going to take that 42 and I'm going to divide it by how many numbers I added together. So I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many times does 6 go into 42? 7. Oops, battery running low. So my mean equals 7. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the distance between my mean of 7 and my other numbers. So I'm going to write them down and then I'm going to subtract. So 7 minus 5 is 2. 10 minus 7 is 3. 8 minus 7 is 1. 12 minus 7 is 5. 7 minus 1 is 6. And 7 minus 6 is 1. So I'm going to take those numbers and I'm going to find the average of those numbers. So I have 2, 3, 1, 5, 6, 1. So I'm going to add them together. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 plus 5 is 11. 11 plus 6 is 17. 17 plus 1 is 18. So now I'm going to take and divide 18 by the numbers I added together, which was 6. 6 goes into 18 3 times. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 minus 18 is 0. So that means that my MAD equals 3. All right, see guys, that's not too bad. Let's do one more problem together. So remember, my first step is I'm going to add up all my numbers. Find that average. So 1, 2, 2, 2, 4, 4, 4, 5. So add them all up. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 plus 4 is 11. 11 plus 4 is 15. 15 plus 4 is 19. 19 plus 5 is 24. So I'm going to take that 24 and I'm going to divide it by how many numbers I added together, which was 8. So how many times does 8 go into 24? 3. So that means that my mean equals 3. So now remember, we want to find out how far away are the numbers that we just added together away from our mean. So I'm going to write those numbers. And now I'm going to write my mean of 3. And I'm going to subtract. 3 minus 1 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. So that's another one and another one. 4 minus 3 is 1. A lot of ones this time. 1, 1, and 5 minus 3 is 2. So now I'm going to take in all these numbers that I just added together. I'm going to find the mean of them. So 2, 1, 1, 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I should have 6 ones. So let's add. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. So now, remember, the next step of finding the mean is you have to divide. We always want to forget about dividing, and that's because I think we hate dividing. Don't hate it, guys. Love dividing. All right, so 8 goes into 10 one time. 1 times 8 is 8. 10 minus 8 is 2. Add my decimal. You guessed it. Pop, pop, pop it up. Pop that decimal right on up. Add that 0. Bring it down. How many times does 8 go into 20? 2 times. 8 times 2 is 16. 20 minus 16 is 4. Add another 0. Bring it down. How many times does 8 go into 40? 5 times. So 5 times 8 is 40. And that gives your MAD equal to 1.25. And there you have it, guys. So what I want for you to do now is you're going to hop back on over to Teams, and I actually have another of those drag and drop activities for you. So you have a list of numbers that you need to find the mean or the mean average deviation for, and you'll look at the numbers at the bottom, Once you find the number that you just did, you'll drag it up to the top. You may not use every number, but every single mean and mad will have a number. So